Okay, so this is just a video to let you test whether or not you installed and downloaded and installed RTran correctly. So RTran is a transport simulator. We're not going to talk about the specifics of RTran here. This is just a video to check that you've downloaded and installed it correctly. So the first step is to download rtran.zip. So it's just a zip file, and it's the same file whether or not you're on a Windows machine or a Mac machine. So I'm going to demo the install on a Macintosh here, but it's exactly the same process on a Windows machine. You just download the zip file, then you unzip it. So I've extracted it, and you see now a folder called RTran has appeared, in this case on my desktop. You can move that folder to anywhere else you like. But if you open the folder, inside that folder you'll see a whole bunch of files. These are the files here. All you need to do to run RTran, if you're lucky, is to click on, in this case it's RTran Mac is what I need to click on because I'm on a Mac. The only difference if you're on a Windows is that you need to click on the RTran Windows. So in either case you choose the right one. So in this case I'm double clicking RTran Mac, and you should get, in both cases, RTran should start printing some things out to the screen. So you'll see here that RTran has started to run correctly, and it will print out a whole lot of information because RTran tells you what it's doing as it's going. We won't worry about that here. All you need to worry about in terms of checking whether or not you've installed correctly is if you get to this point where RTran's printing things out to the screen like this, then you've installed RTran correctly and it's running okay. So in most cases this is what will happen. All you need to do is download the zip file, unzip the zip file, and then double click on RTran, and it should run without any other install actions by you. I should say here, if RTran doesn't run like this smoothly for you, or you have an error, you'll need to go through some other steps explained in another video. Okay, so that's what RTran looks like when it finishes. It should pop up a little box telling you where it saved the outputs to. So after RTran finishes, it'll save some outputs to an Excel file, and it'll tell you what that Excel file is called. So you just need to click OK and press enter, and the black screen will go away. Having said it produces some outputs to an Excel file. That's another requirement for RTran. So in order to run RTran, the inputs and the outputs are in Excel files, so you need Microsoft Excel to run RTran. Okay, so that's all. If that happens, you've run RTran successfully and it's produced the outputs. And so you should notice that there's an extra file that now exists in your RTran folder, which is the Excel file that RTran produces with the outputs. So I'm just going to open it to show you that it exists. I'm not going to go through it because we're not really going to talk about what RTran does in this video. So that's the output Excel file is one thing it produces, but RTran also produces a whole bunch of spatial outputs. And in order to look at them, RTran comes bundled with a very simple GIS viewer called TinyGIS. So what we're going to do now is just make sure that you can run that TinyGIS program and that you can view the outputs that were created by RTran when it ran just then. So to run TinyGIS, you just I'll click on TinyGIS Mac. If you're on a Windows machine, you just double click on the TinyGIS Windows. And again, TinyGIS will pop up a black screen and will print a lot of information to the black screen, just telling you all the files that it's reading in, because RTran produces a lot of output files, a lot of spatial output files. So this can take several minutes just for TinyGIS to open up and read in all the data files. So you just have to be patient while it does that. And I'm just going to speed up the video to the end. Okay, you should get a picture something like that after you've finished running RTran. It may not look exactly like that, but you should basically have a grid of cells with different colors and a window with a scale as well pop up. So As long as you get a window with some colors in it, then and a menu along there saying main, region, view, display, and zoom, then that means TinyGIS has started up, run successfully. Now, if you've got to this point, then everything's worked correctly. You've downloaded RTran, you've unzipped it, you've run RTran, RTran's produced some result files, and then you're able to view those result files with TinyGIS. And that's it.